to everyone, and we are here going to interact today on a very base spectrum. And I've tried my best because I'm glad that we are taking a topic which actually faces a lot of challenges day to day, from a very small area to a very wider area as well, right? It often happens that when we are dealing into wellness, and we commonly portray that we have maybe huge spaces and large areas to be into those kind of establishment to manage wellness. But we often have to understand that this essence of wellness has to actually walk from day to day, from a very small unit to a larger one. Yes, we have to deep root the guest satisfaction. What is the audience to whom we are going to deal? To be equalized with, it always has a competitiveness. Why? Because the one who's hosting, or the one who's going to be funding the project, or is the owner of the project, he or she needs to decide that is it going to really work up, because ultimately, offering this, am I able to get good ROI? So it has to be basically, when we are talking of wellness in concrete shape, to this deep root of, is the user satisfied, and is the promoter definitely working with that profit margin, and finally coming out with a guest walking out of your site saying that it is 5 on 5 and the review is posted as good. Now, to do all that, we have a lot of areas which keep talking. We have huge lecture content with what are sustainable practices, use of natural material. Everything is being done on the basis of project, basically. But before which, while we do all this, we have to check that are we just dealing, to the best of honesty, natural light, green spaces, and natural materials. We talk this, but how much have we? Biophilic, you are actually talking cultural heritage also, and you are also talking tradition. It is the material which then comes to a local pickup, and then forth comes the finish which they want, that please match the urban context, because I need that finish to convince with a good ambience. But at the same time, when we are talking in USA, we are not talking only of heritage always, because there's nothing which has been spread as a very strong culture, very frankly. It's just the sustenance with the utmost desired building practices. You should be following the standards, and then everything is justified. So the definition of biophilic is just as good as that when we started doing yoga, and then it was promoted, and now it has become an international yoga day. That is the aspect of dealing biophilic within the country and towards US, which is still different when we deal projects in UK. There you have only two logics. You have to satisfy what is the function, and is the end user comfortable. It is just a product. If you have designed, you have established, you have finished the project, but the end user is saying, I am not comfortable, I don't like it, there is only one thing which is going to work: you have to change it, or you have to rectify it. Which is, of course, still I'm happy, not the what we've tried is that why not bring small features inside, which you commonly see in resorts, hotels, or occupancies when you pay additional and you go out. But can we try bringing in those features within our own small gated communities? It may be through greenery, it may be, you can see the exemplary of a very short water body with a dripping in kind of a waterfall from a low height. Next to this, there is another content which is like office spaces which have huge area lengths of workstations, and there we tried to come up with furnishing these comfortable spaces just within that office environment itself. So it's not all that hospitality which is waiting this always. People who are into huge quantities working into a compact space, we've tried giving in this intermittent modules. These are just called quiet zones. What is our search is, when we go into these quiet zones, we actually only talk of the open spaces like resorts or like wellness centers or naturopathy centers. But once you are already off that community, that public density which demands a lot of silence, you have moved out into a silent zone, and then you are finding something still more silent. We tried to work up this within those areas where every time 5 days a week person cannot just walk out, but within that shall we be able to provide an encouraging space, a very short and a quiet zone. that it is not only when we are talking of wellness, we are talking of moving to a specified zone and then talking of wellness. Our job actually starts pretty early, more than that. All of these contents, which may be a sort of meditation rooms or spa services. When I say spa, it could be resorts, but when I say meditation rooms, it could be office complexes. When it is libraries and reading nook centers, these have to be actually common places which we have to chalk out of those clumsy buildings, including art and music. That is going to be a golden spoon. But if nothing is possible, picking out a quiet zone always has to be a keynote, which, as a contributor to this industry, we should be taking a strong note. I conclude quite quickly, saying that you have to be incorporating each and every principle of biophilic design. That is important, but the limitation is not always to be towards the hospitality segment. The application should be still more fast towards the most busiest category of buildings as well. I hope you understood the context. In what reference have we taken this topic actually? Thank you for listening.